So Terraria's food items are easily some of the best buffs in the game. I mean, an increase to all stats? What could possibly go wrong? Well, nothing, actually. The problem isn't that they're bad, it's that they're useless. See, there's over 80 food items in Terraria. Yeah, kind of a ton. Chances are, though, you've never even seen some of them because they all do the same thing, and that's the issue. Like, when's the last time you made a frozen banana daiquiri? Daiquiri? Probably never, because there's a ton that are 1,000 times more convenient and just as, if not more useful. Pumpkin pie is a medium buff food item that's easy to farm a lot of, and they last for a good bit of time. All of a sudden, one pumpkin farm and every other medium food item is just inventory clutter. You can say this about minor and major food items as well. They all just have a few optimal choices, and now the rest are obsolete. So, today, I'm going to try and come up with a bit of a solution for this problem. I want to make the forgotten food items actually have a purpose. The most obvious solution, and the thing I thought of first, is to just give certain foods shorter potion effects as well. You know, seafood dinner could give a fishing buff, and peppers could give swiftness. This could give a bit more of a short-term boost for some of the more convenient foods, and boring. Let's be honest, this solution is okay for some foods, but it doesn't solve the problem of food items not being worth it. Like, at that point, just go make the potion. So, here's my actual proposal for a real solution. First off, I still think each food should have a separate buff from the rest of the Terraria buffs, but instead of just increase all stats, it would focus a few specific stats, so every food item would have a special combination of buffs. You would still only be able to use one food at a time, so then you could pick and choose the stats you want to target. In other words, more personalized loadouts by picking which buff combo you want, all through food. Before we look at some examples of the food change, by the way, I want to remind you all that I'm shooting for 10k subs, and we just made it halfway, so if you enjoyed, subscribe. Okay, now let's put this rework in action and see some examples. Let's start with that frozen banana daiquiri that I mentioned before. Since it's a minor buff food item, it would have stats on par with the current well-fed standards. Since it's a cold food, it might actually decrease speed, which throws a bit of a wrench into things. Then of course, to balance out the speed loss, the banana part of it could give an increase to a handful of other stats because bananas in real life are known for being super versatile. This perfectly leads me into my next idea of just keeping some foods as is, so if you really want that all-around stat spread, you can still have it. Versatile foods like bananas or stuff with a whole bunch of ingredients like burgers could easily maintain that increase to all stats gimmick. Next example, let's run it back to pumpkin pie. In my mind, pumpkin pie has a very hearty, homey vibe, like Thanksgiving Americans. This sort of leads me in the regen health department of buffs, so maybe a pumpkin pie could give like some fat life regen, or maybe even like a 5% max health boost, or something a bit more interesting. Feels fitting. Alright, one last example. This one is a little more adventurous. What if some foods had buffs that could really help to switch up your playstyle? Imagine like a grape juice or something, giving larger buffs specifically against enemies with say 4 or more debuffs, or maybe enemies with 20% health or less. I'm no game dev, so I'm not even gonna try and cook up some unbalanced stat soup, but I feel like this idea is genuinely kinda heat, and at the very least, I love stuff that changes the way that you play the game entirely and actually also feels useful. That's about all I got for this one though. If anyone has any more thoughts of examples for this, drop a comment, that would be great. Also, big thanks to the channel members on the left, and if you enjoyed the video, check out the other one on the right, you'll probably enjoy that too. Bye bye now, also, subscribe!